Hi there, this is Gerard Welbrock, and you're tuned in to Tiger Talk. We're going to talk some women's basketball with head coach Tony Hobson and men's hoops with Mark Johnson. It's all coming up right after this on Tiger Talk.
At Eagle Communications, we're proud to provide the communication services you need to get the most from today's technology. Our employee owners make it happen. We're part of your community, and we take pride in delivering excellent customer service. If you ever have a question, give us a call. We're here to help. Eagle Communications, our community connected.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tiger Talk. Gerard Welbrock with you as we talk some Fort Hays State basketball here this evening. Coaches Mark Johnson on the men's program, Tony Hobson for the women will be joining us here shortly, recapping a kind of a rough week on the road in western Missouri. The Tiger men lose a pair to Missouri Western and Northwest Missouri State, who leads the MIAA. The women, in that much anticipated top 5 showdown with Missouri Western, could not quite get it done after building a 20-point first half lead, fall by 2 to the Griffins, but get a nice bounce back win on Saturday over a much improved Northwest Missouri State team. So we'll talk all about the weekend and look ahead to just one game this week for both teams. That'll be Saturday night up in Kearney. The rivalry renewed with the Lopers of Nebraska Kearney. So we'll get into all of that and a whole lot more as the program continues. It is brought to you, as always, by the great folks at the Golden Corral Buffet and Grill just north of the interstate in Hays. They've got great menu items, or great buffet items, I guess I should say. You can check out the great breakfast. Also for dinner or lunch or supper, that's the place to be. And, of course, they cater. So the next time you have a big family gathering or event, check them out. 625-4141 is the number to call about their catering service at the Golden Corral Buffet and Grill, the best buffet in the USA. We'll take a break. Women's coach Tony Hobson when we come back right here on Tiger Talk. Welcome back to Tiger Talk, brought to you by the Golden Corral Buffet and Grill, just north of the interstate in Hays, where you can enjoy the Sunrise Breakfast Buffet Saturdays and Sundays starting at 7:30 at the Golden Corral, best buffet in the USA. Joined by Tiger women's coach Tony Hobson, Fort Hays State. A split this week on the road, tough one, 2-point loss at number 5 Missouri Western on Thursday, but then a bounce back win Saturday afternoon in Maryville against Northwest Missouri State. I guess we'll start with the game everybody was excited about, the game against Missouri Western. It certainly, from a fan's perspective, I guess lived up to the billing. Unfortunately, a 2-point loss for you, and really 2 different games, it seemed like, and 2 different teams, because the first half, maybe your best basketball. I mean, your gals were just dissecting them, getting great shots, and then it seemed like the second half just really tentative, and unfortunately on the road that's not a good formula and came up 2 points short.
Well, I think the reason that the second half looked so bad, or one of the reasons, was because the first half was so good. I mean, we've had halves worse than that half. And actually probably the second half of Missouri Western was closer to our norm than the first half. I mean, we played the first half, we played as close to perfect as we could. We made a lot of shots. We played with a lot of energy. We had 4 back cut baskets. Everything was working. We had them pretty well shut down defensively. So we played well. You know, the second half started off poorly. We gave them two baskets on second shots, and so they cut the lead immediately to 14, and then it was, you know, that's a big difference when it's, you know, almost 20 and then it's down to 14. We saw a totally different team out of them. So yes, we did not play the second half near as aggressively. We didn't play with the energy, especially offensively, that we did the first half, but we saw an entirely different team the second half too. And once they decide that they're going to commit to guarding you, and they're so athletic that that they caused a lot of the problems that we had. So it was as it usually is. It had a lot to do with us. It had a lot to do with them. You know, it wasn't just one or the other. We didn't totally collapse. We didn't play as well, but they just whittled away at the lead, and it took them, you know, if the game would have been a couple minutes shorter or a minute shorter, we would have got out of there. But we just couldn't hang on, and we missed a couple key free throws. You know, and as always, you have a couple calls that are, you know, you think you could get. It was those 50-50 calls, charge block calls. You know, they go against you, and it seems like everything, when the momentum is going against you, those things always just kind of fall in place.
Had a couple of key moments. Nikki hits threes and kind of thought that might weather the storm. One of them right in the third quarter, I think, put you back up by 9 if they had got it to 6. I know she hit one in the fourth quarter, I think pushed it back to 6 or 7 and thought that might be enough to get you over the hump. And as you said, give credit to Missouri Western. They certainly played well and made some big shots themselves down the stretch. But looked like for a while you still may weather all of that and come out of there with a win.
Well, and that's what it comes down to is just their point guard hit a 3. I think she's hit 6 threes on the year, and then their backup 4-man hit a 3, and I think she's hit 5 on the year. So those two kids that normally don't even take a 3-point shot hit 3s at the end of the shot clock, and we couldn't. You know, we missed a couple free throws, and that's just a combination where. They have kids that step up and hit big shots that you're not expecting, and we don't get anything on the other end. So it was just one of those. It was a perfect storm,
yeah.
And when you see a good team on the road, you just can't afford to not finish them out. You know, I think we were close to getting them out of the game the first half, but just couldn't quite do it.
LaQuinta Jefferson, you know, player of the year type year, and did a really good job, I thought, against her. Got some points late. Maybe the first time you faced her, she wasn't a real big factor. Still left her presence, but you had to be happy with the defensive effort against one of the best offensive players, not only in the conference, you could maybe say the country.
Well, she's just a nightmare matchup for most people. She's 6 foot, probably has 6'2" reach. She plays on the wing. You can't keep her off the boards when she is determined to get there. Not a great outside shooter, but not somebody you can just leave. I thought Taylor Chandler did a great job on her, really for the whole game. I mean, late in the game, she got to the basket a couple times and got a couple tip-ins, but you know, she isn't what beat us. I mean, it was their whole team beat us, but it isn't like she just took over and dominated us by any means.
Well, bounce back on Saturday. Tigers went to Maryville, about 30 minutes up the road. Highway 71 taking on Northwest Missouri State, and a team that's obviously much better than their one conference win record. And they just got a crazy 30-point win over Nebraska Kearney, but you can tell they're playing with some confidence and playing their best basketball. That was a hard-fought win and a great fourth quarter by your team.
Well, I don't know if we played well for the whole game. I think we played well enough to just kind of hang in there, and again, we didn't shoot the ball real well, but like you said, they were playing with more confidence than they've played with all year. They were excited that they got a win on Thursday. You know, a lot of this game is just believing that you can get something done, and so we were playing a team probably that it emotionally was about as raring to go as you could get, and I thought they played fine. I think their inside play is good. They hurt us on the boards a few times, but again, we just the fourth quarter we just turned them over like crazy. And any time you have that kind of differential on the turnover margin, you should be able to win the game.
Yeah, they had 30 turnovers, 12 of them in the fourth quarter. You outscored them 22-0 off of turnovers. And it seems like here recently you've still been creating turnovers, maybe haven't scored as much off of it, but kind of got back in that course in that game, which has been a key part of your offense this year.
Well, it has, and part of the problem is we are not very good at finishing opportunities when we do turn some over. In the open floor, we're not as good as we should be. With the guard play we have, we should be better than we are in the open floor, and it's something you can kind of practice, but usually you either have kids that can do it or they can't. so we're almost better off getting it and trying to run something sometimes. But I think we just have to keep doing what we do, and I'm glad we had enough energy there in the fourth quarter to go ahead and press them a little bit. And I thought Nikki did a great job. I thought Taylor also really turned up the heat, and that was the big difference is their best player. I think she had a double-double on us, but she also had 8 turnovers because whenever she tried to do something, we collapsed on her and we took it from her a lot of times. So, those are the difference makers right there. We got 20 some more shots up than they did, and that's probably why we got out rebounded, is because they had a lot more opportunities for defensive rebounds than we did.
Tigers do get the 15-point win, so get back on track. Got a little bit of help from Nebraska Kearney, so still just 1 game back in the MIAA standings, and just 1 game this week. It'll be Saturday night up at the Health and Sports Center in Kearney, Nebraska against the Lopers. We'll take a break. We'll talk about that and more when we return to Tiger Talk right after this.
They're growing up and getting busier. Between school, sports, dance, sleepovers, you want to make sure they can always reach you when they need to. Nextech Wireless has the perfect cell phone starter plan. For only $40 per month, it includes unlimited data, calling, and texting. There are no contracts or overages, so they can call, text, YouTube, and stream all they want. Plus, smartphones start at just $150. Certain restrictions apply. Get the $40 WOW Unlimited plan at Nextech Wireless.
Welcome back to Tiger Talk, presented by the Golden Corral Buffet and Grill, just north of the interstate in Hayes. And hey, don't forget, next time you go with the purchase of an adult meal, get your $1.99 to-go box. It's like 2 meals in 1. You can have something for the next day, all from the Golden Corral Buffet and Grill, just north of the interstate in Hayes. Tigers back in action Saturday in Kearney against Nebraska Kearney, and one of those rare weeks we only play 1 game, and it's been a grind really since you got back from Christmas. Probably comes at a good time, get a little bit of time to get your feet back under you, work on some things in practice this week, and then get ready for a tough Kearney game on Saturday.
Well, it is good timing. I think our bye week probably comes as good as anybody's. So we will take a couple days off this week. Or we already took yesterday off, but we'll take another day off this week that we generally wouldn't have. So hopefully we can get, rested up and look at a few things and just get ready for this stretch run, which lasts about 4 weeks, and the regular season's over. So we have to be better than we have been, I think, to go up there and win. We had a real battle with them here. We were lucky to get out of that situation with a win in overtime. So we'll have to certainly be ready.
You look at the conference race right now, you're a game out of first. Western had their first loss. They've got a lot of home games. They've got Southern and Pitt yet. Emporia right behind you. They've got a very favorable schedule. I mean, it's still a very, very narrow margin if you want to still be there, as you said, during the stretch run to win another conference championship.
Well, right now, the top 4 teams just go right down the line. 1 loss, 2 loss, 3 loss, 4 loss. Now I guess you can go even to the 5th place team has 5 losses. So if you just have a bad week and drop a couple of games, you can drop from 2nd to 4th or 5th real fast. So we just have to concentrate on this game on Saturday, and it's an important one for us just because it's our next game, and every one is just so important. We had a chance to kind of be in the driver's seat, but with ifs. I don't deal very well with hypotheticals because what if, all that stuff. So we just have to look at what's in front of us, and we have a chance to do some good. And the problem is we've got a lot of tough games on the road, and where the teams behind us not so much. Emporia State's right on our heels, and they've got a favorable schedule. They've played more games on the road so far, so they're at home a lot, and 1 game back. We're 1 game back in Mo West, and I would say their schedule probably is a little easier than ours too. So, it all depends on which team shows up and who can win those tight games on the road, and hopefully we will get our share and stay up there at the top.
You mentioned Kearney Saturday, needed overtime to beat them here in Hayes, and then they have a week that you kind of scratch your head. They lose by 30 at Northwest, and then they come back and beat an undefeated Western team by 6, I think it was. I mean, that's just a swing in about 48 hours. That's kind of has you scratching your head a little bit. Obviously shows how capable they are, though.
Well, it just is sports, I guess, but it also shows me that I'll guarantee you that they did not play the Missouri Western team that we played the second half, because that would be impossible. So they, you know, it always has both teams involved. Mo West obviously was not ready to play like they were against us the second half, you know. So maybe Kearney saw them for 2 halves like we saw them the first half. I don't know. And Kearney obviously picked it up and was ready to go. But you don't score 32 points on Northwest and 82 on Mo West with the same team. I mean, you've got to have a team that's much hungrier and ready to play. And that's the team we'll see on Saturday, because they'll be ready to go at home, and they're trying to make this a real rivalry game. We haven't really got it to that point yet, because we're still, you know, Washburn, Emporia, Pitt type things, because they're Kansas schools. But just the proximity makes it a good game for us, and hopefully we'll be able to go up there and play well.
Nope. Should be fun on Saturday night, a night game at the Health and Sports Center. Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Have a great week of practice, and we'll see you up in Kearney on Saturday.
Okay, thanks, Gerard.
That is head coach Tony Hobson of the Tiger women. They are now 11-2 in the conference, 17-2 overall. And again, at Nebraska Kearney, 5:30 tip on Saturday night. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk with men's coach Mark Johnson as Tiger Talk continues right after this.
BOS Motorsports in Hayes introduces the top off-road vehicle lineup with Polaris. The world leader in off-road innovation presents the RZR, Ranger, Sportsman, and Ace off-road vehicles right here in the heartland of BOS Motorsports in Hayes. Whether you're looking for something for the trail, the farm, the oil patch, the hunt, BOS has the ride just for you. Stop in today and ride away with yours. At BOS, customer service is number one. Our in-house parts and service department will take care of you before, during, and after the sale. BOS Motorsports just north of I-70 at exit 159 in Hayes.
Welcome back to Tiger Talk, here presented by the Golden Corral Buffet and Grill, just north of the interstate in Hayes. Everyday low prices on a great list of menu items. Of course, great breakfast over the weekend as well at the Golden Corral, just north of the interstate. Best buffet in the USA. Men's coach Mark Johnson joins us now. Kind of a rough week for the Tigers. Losses at Missouri Western and conference leader Northwest Missouri State, and always tough in the MIAA, especially this year, and going on the road's an adventure, and unfortunately ran into kind of a buzzsaw Thursday night against Missouri Western, and then a tough one against the conference leaders. We'll start on Thursday. Maybe the best Western has played this year. Certainly in conference play, they were a very, very good team, and unfortunately you were the guys they were playing that night.
Yeah, you know, the Newsom kid had a great game. He scored 25 points. I think he was averaging 6 points going into the game. And, you know, we've said it over the years, sometimes it's not who you play, it's when you play. And they kind of went through a tough stretch, and their backs were against the wall. They had a very heartbreaking loss at Emporia. And you knew they were going to come out, you know, probably playing their best game, and they did. And, you know, we just didn't score enough offensively really the whole weekend. We struggled on that end. I mean, I would say on defense we were average at best, but I mean, really we just couldn't score enough points. It's hard to go on the road, and I think, you know, obviously Saturday we scored 50, but we couldn't get to 70 at Western. You look at our team, you know, we're a type of team that we need to be in the, you know, upper 70s, 80. Seems like when we score 80 or more, we've usually won the game. You know, we just don't. We're not the type of defensive team to go, especially on the road, shut the other team out. So we got to score some points. And our big guys struggled all weekend long. Really couldn't finish against the physical play of both teams.
And kind of a strange week in the sense that I think Rob Davis got 4 3-point attempts off all weekend. He hit 2 of them, but obviously he's been a focal point. He's been very good from beyond the arc, and teams were not going to let him beat them.
Yeah, you know, he had a great game, 36 points, Central Oklahoma. So, I mean, he, like I said, they keyed on him. And, you know, we got to do a better job of getting him the ball. He went 7 for 10 Thursday night and 6 of 10 Saturday. Those are still great shooting percentages. We're not getting him enough shots. Again, the defense has something to do with that. You have to credit them, but we got to play through him a little bit more. And some of our other guys maybe are taking too quick a shots or just weren't being as successful. So if they're not quite on that game, we got to get Rob more touches and more looks.
And you look at Missouri Western, going back to that game, some matchup issues with some of the guys, their size, and can step out and shoot the threes. This was not an easy game when you look at it on paper going in with just some of the matchups on there, and then when they shoot the shots well and knock some of those in, makes it even doubly tough.
Yeah, we've really had in the last couple of years had problems with some, stretch power forwards, 4 men that can step out and shoot the ball. The Newsom kid, 13, had a huge night, and then you turn right back around on Saturday, and the Schneider kid goes 6 of 10 from 3. So those type of individuals have given us some problems. We just, probably not quite athletic enough at those positions to get out there and be able to contest and get out the guys that can shoot it and drive it.
Pitts on Saturday, Northwest Freshman of the Year from a year ago, finished with 10 points, 5 boards, 5 assists. I thought maybe one of the better games defensively against him. He just didn't go in stretches where he dominated the game. I thought you did a pretty good job in that regard, and you figure that's a great place to start defensively, but they had too many other weapons.
Yeah, they're more than just him, and I think at times they probably maybe rely on him too much and run too much through him, and they have other really good players, as we saw on Saturday, and we did an okay job containing him. He really didn't have to do much because they were whipping us, but we just had so many breakdowns. The Schneider kid, we didn't want him to get threes. I don't know what's more discouraging, the fact that he made 6 or the fact that we let him shoot 10. He wasn't supposed to be able to get any off. So we had a ton of defensive breakdowns, which you cannot do on the road against a capable team like that. But also, again, we scored 55 points. We struggled mightily on the offensive end, and they guarded us well. We're physical with our post players, and our bigs struggled to score, couldn't get it in the hole enough, and then that doesn't open up enough from the guard play. We don't have a lot of guys in the backcourt that can drive it, make plays, finish. Rob's kind of that guy, and if you don't have to double team our post or we can't score on single coverage at times, that gives us fits, and we just weren't able. Like I said, 55 points and 68 points for us is just not enough on the road for us to expect to win games.
Well, the Tigers have a week now to get ready for Nebraska Kearney, a team they beat at home, but a much different team. They're healthy now, and it will certainly be a challenge on Saturday. We'll talk all about that when we return. Tiger Talk brought to you by the Golden Corral, and we're back with our final segment right after this.
At Eagle Communications, we're proud to provide the communications services you need to get the most from today's technology. Our employee owners make it happen. We're part of your community, and we take pride in delivering excellent customer service. If you ever have a question, give us a call. We're here to help. Eagle Communications, our community connected.
Welcome back. It's our final segment here on Tiger Talk, presented by the Golden Corral Buffet and Grill. Open 7 days a week just north of the interstate in Hayes. Fort Hays State at Nebraska Kearney on Saturday, but you get a week now before you play them. No midweek game, which probably I would think maybe falls at a good time. It's been a pretty big grind really since you got back from Christmas. Get a little time to maybe take a little break, but really work on some things and hopefully get things in order for the last month or so of the season.
Yeah, we've really been going at it since we came back December 28th. You had that stretch, 4 games in 8 days, and then just 2 every week. So we kind of needed this to come. Probably not the team you want to play on the road after you're coming off 2 hard losses. Kearney, probably the best offensive team in our league. The difference between really us and them this past weekend, we probably guarded every bit as well, probably better than they did. They were just able to put up points, and they're able to put up points on a lot of people. I'm concerned now that Brandon can slide back to the 3 against us, which with Brozak out, he didn't. He's probably a better version of Artenson, and Artenson had 20 points in the first half because we just, we don't match up well with the 6'6" 3-man, and we're kind of in the same boat, and it'll be a difficult matchup for us trying to guard those guys. And really this week, it's kind of like you said, we really need to work on some things. We need to get better. We really need to work on our defense and try to, get better at execution and not have breakdowns. But you go back at the same time, I don't know how much man we can play against Kearney. We may have to play a lot of zone. So here you are, do you spend this whole week preparing for Kearney, or do you spend this week trying to get better in the things that we got to get better for the majority of our games? So kind of interesting dynamic this week, and we got to figure out what we need to be doing.
It'll be interesting. We talk about Baranek, we talk about Brozak. They're great. Landsman's been the guy, mainly in Hayes, has really hurt you. Not so much up in Kearney. Maybe that's a good sign. But for some reason, You've done an okay job against the other ones. He has had some big games against you guys.
He's played great, and really what they're doing now with those three guys, they decide whatever three-man you put on, if you put them on Landsman or Baranek, that's the one that's going to be able to go inside because the other one can shoot the three so well. You know, Landsman's shooting over 50% from three, so, you know, you can't leave him and go down and double team. Same thing that you put your guard on Landsman and Baranek goes outside. Well, he's a very capable three-point shooter, so they're really starting to exploit all of our league with just matchups. And obviously with our three-man being 6 foot and the next guy coming off the bench 6'1", there's going to be some matchup problems. So, like I said, we're probably going to have to play a lot of zone, I would think, maybe for the first time in a long time, but I just don't see how we can match up with them in a man-to-man capable, situation. We're going to have to, mix it up and try to change it up, but I think we're going to have to eventually play some zone.
No, big stretch, 5 of 7 on the road. You knew this was going to be a very difficult stretch of your season. Hopefully you can find a way to win. You kind of survived that, but you look at the MIAA, it's a week-by-week deal. Kearney had a decent week. They split. Northwest, obviously, a great week with a couple of home wins, but still a lot to play in a league race that's probably going to come down to the very, very end, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what this league does to you this year. You have a great home weekend, you feel great about yourself and think things are really good, and then a week later you get swept and you don't feel very good about yourself. And that's, if you look around the league, I mean, Kearney, 1 week, same thing. They had a great week and feel great. The next time they have a home loss and all that. So, I think Northwest is a clear-cut favorite. I think they're the best team. They have the best schedule to finish, but really, I think the rest of the league it can go a lot of different ways. We can still finish in the top 4 and get to Kansas City. We can still get a top 8 seed and get a home game. We can still have to go on the road and we can still not get in. With 9 games to go, it's so close, and every game's important, and you can't let your opportunities slip away. I feel like, the 2 opportunities we have let slip away is at Missouri Western and at Lincoln. Those were 2 games with 8 minutes to go. We had a chance, and you have to come. If you want to be at the top 4 and get to Kansas City without having to play, those are the games you got to find a way to win, and we just weren't able to do that.
Well, we'll see what happens after a week of practice and a tough Kearney team on Saturday. Coach, as always, we appreciate the time. Have a great week of practice, and we'll see you up at the Health and Sports Center.
All right, thank you.
That's Mark Johnson, coach of the Fort Hays State Tigers. Again, a men's and women's doubleheader coming up on Saturday. Night games up in Kearney, 5:30 for the ladies, 7:30 for the men. We're on the air at 5:10 with the Auto World pregame show on Tiger Radio Mix 103 on Saturday night. Hey, if you missed any portion of the program, you can always catch the program online at HaysPost.com or the video replay on Eagle Cable's channel 614 and 14. That'll wrap it up for the program. It is brought to you by the Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute, Taco Shop, G&L Tire, Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis, Adams, Brown, Barron, and Baldwin Couture for men and women. And, of course, a big thank you to the title sponsor. It is the Golden Corral Buffet and Grill just north of the interstate in Hayes. A lot of great menu items, great breakfast on the weekends as well and throughout the week. But it's the Golden Corral just north of the interstate, open 7 days a week. It's the Golden Corral, best buffet in the USA. For coaches Tony Hobson and Mark Johnson, this is Gerard Welbrock. So long, everyone.
At Eagle Communications, we deliver what matters to your business. Our services are fast, reliable, secure, and competitively priced, giving you more value for your hard-earned business dollar. With Eagle Communications, you're not just another number, you're part of our business family. And we deliver peace of mind with local technicians who provide dedicated system monitoring and support. Connect to something better. Call Eagle Communications, and let's talk about what matters to your business.
Thanks for watching Tiger Talk. If you missed any portion of it, you can always catch the audio replay from Tiger Radio Mix 103 or the video replay at HaysPost.com. We'll see you next time right here on Tiger Talk.